Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to coverage of the U.S. Amateur Championship from here at Strokers in Palm Harbor, Florida. This event presented by the American Pool Players Association with our streaming coverage brought to you by our friends at PoolDog.com. I'm your host, Jason Bowman, and I'm joined by Double J, Jeremy Jones, here in the broadcast booth. Jeremy, round two. It was pretty quick match we saw in the first round with Brian Parks taking care of business.
And really few mistakes by both players. It was a solid match.
So in our second round here, we've got another match about ready to go. Before we meet our competitors, let's take a look real briefly at the tournament format and the rules. Race to 7, combination 8-ball and 9-ball, 5 games of 8-ball, 8 games of 9-ball. The U.S. Amateur Championship is double elimination up until the final round when we have an extended race and it goes single elim. And the winner of the lag chooses the break or the format. In our second round, we're going to have James Adams of Brooksville, Florida. Local guy, fairly well known here in the amateur circles, former APA 9-ball shootout champion, and I know he's been to the U.S. Amateur several times against Jacob Case of Bruceville, Texas. Don't know a whole lot about Jacob, his first time here at the U.S. Amateur Championship, so we'll get a chance to get to know him as we watch. Before we go to the table, let's hear a quick word from our friends at PoolDog.com.
Tired of the same old when you're buying billiard supplies? Come shop with the big dogs at PoolDog.com. You want pool cues? We've got over 700. Balls, cases, accessories, no problem. Want help with your game? How does hundreds of free training articles sound? Want to shop offline? We'll mail you a free catalog. Hit us up online, PoolDog.com, or call 866-843-3294.
All right. Looks like we've lost our competitors. Jeremy, where did they go? Well, there's one of them. Getting settled in there on our main table. Again, we've got James Adams, 29 years old, from here in Brooksville, Florida. His opponent, Jacob Case, Bruceville, Texas, 40 years old.
I know Jacob. Bruceville's near Waco.
Ah, there you go.
He qualified actually in San Antonio, I believe. Pretty straight shooter. A guy that's improved a lot the last few years. Really loves the game.
James won the lag, decided to take the break, so that means Jacob would have opted for the 8-ball format, although he lists his best game as rotation.
Okay, there again with the second ball break, which you see a lot of in 8-ball. You don't see it quite as often on the big table, but that might be more at the professional level, I guess. A lot of clusters in this lower right quadrant of the table, so going to be a tricky one if there's a run out here from the break.
This is, again, Jacob Case at the table. 40 years old, been playing for about 20 years, so half his life. Started playing pool in a local bar, sponsored by Jam Up Apparel. He likes to take it one ball at a time, and he noted Charlie Bryan as an influence. I know you know Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie Hillbilly Bryan, is that the nickname, right?
That's right.
Another Texas guy.
Yeah, Charlie's been in Texas now going on probably 13, 14, 15 years. Originally from North Carolina, Hickory area. I know it's a small town near Hickory, and Hickory's a small town also, but okay, got a little unfortunate there. He made a nice little kiss shot opening the 1, and then the 6 came up and kind of made a little bit of a mess of things as well. But he's still got a 4-ball there to think about as far as opening the balls up. He's looking at the 1 plays off the 6, and I kind of like that. Now, it's the one thing is it's very hard to reach that shot, even with the bridge, cutting it backwards. I think it's one that he probably needs to shoot, though. So this will be the 1 ball off the 6, trying to take care of one problem and actually take care of 2 problems with 1 shot. That being making the 1 makeable and also opening the 6. Thing on this type of shot is, Jason, is you're cutting the ball pretty severely to get it onto the 6 and into the lower right corner. So the cue ball is going to have some speed, probably have some collision on the 10. So a lot's going to get rearranged here, and you just never know how they're going to come out exactly. And consequently, I don't know if he's come up with a shot at all, and I don't think he has. I'll tell you what he does have, though. He has a nice safety right here, just barely bumping the 6 and leaving the cue ball underneath the 6. I think he might kind of cut his opponent off on everything. Maybe not. And we talked about it yesterday, though. You know, Jacob right here really felt like he could run the table, because you don't want to start clearing a bunch of balls when you're not going to finish it. And it really opens up the table for your opponent playing the game of 8-ball.
James Adams now at the table. We've gotten to know James a little bit over the years. He's been qualified here for the U.S. Amateur Championship several times. Most recently last year, finished 3rd place in 2016, 5th place last year.
That's pretty impressive, because I'm sure you come close, if not always, get that 128 in this event. So a 3rd and a 5th, pretty impressive.
Yeah, two 5th, 1 3rd. Yeah,
oh,
15.
2 5ths.
Yeah, he
okay.
finished 5th place 2015 as well. He's a pretty accomplished player. He's got a few titles under his belt. Mentioned he won the 2015 APA 9-ball shootout. It's one of our Vegas events. 2015 Florida Pool Tour Player of the Year as an amateur.
Oh, he made a nice opening shot there, and he had two-way in mind. You'll notice he spun the cue ball with inside English up the table. That way, if he missed that tough one down the rail, really kind of cut Jacob off from any type of shot, but hit it really well and got it down, and looking at a fairly open table with the stripes. He's got a 15 ball he's got to work on, and I think he can do that. Should be. You want to get to that early, but the way this rack lays, he may have to wait till close to the end to get to the 15. Okay. And maybe the 15 goes by the 4. If the 15 goes by the 4, that makes things really sweet for James. Makes him a little easier. And the way the balls will land, he could draw this ball back into the okay, the 15 goes. So you definitely want to shoot that. Pretty solid there, pretty good. Got some choices now. Don't like the 14 so much. I think that may end up being my last ball, just because here he's pretty thin on it, so the cue ball is going to have a lot of travel. I think it'd be more something like the 10, get on the 9, then 12, and then drop over for the 15 last, 14 last. This is okay though as well. So probably something like the 9, 12, 14, 10 last now.
Of course, this is the second round of the day. Both matches that we've watched, Jeremy, started in the 8-ball set. 5 games of 5 racks of 8-ball, 8 games, up to 8 games of 9-ball here. And I'm guessing players choose to do that so they can get, they can get them in the 9-ball. You're guaranteed to get into the 9-ball set that way if you start in 9-ball.
Yeah.
If it's one-sided, you won't ever get a chance to play 8-ball. So.
And I think, the guys kind of feel like maybe you're going to get a few more opportunities at the 8-ball, maybe some dry breaks, or, y'all play, you got to take what you make.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes someone can make a stripe on the break and really have no opportunity to run the rack, and that doesn't matter if you're wearing a cape, you couldn't run the rack, it's just that the way the balls are laying, it's just pretty impossible. So maybe a little security feeling they're going to get a little more time at the table for sure if they start with the 8-ball. Because winter break, with the 9-ball some of these players, they can put a lot of racks on you. Really solid out so far here by James. Nice cue ball. He's made a couple really nice shots. The opener on the 11 down the rail.
Be bringing you coverage of the U.S. Amateur Championship over the next 3 days here at Strokers in Palm Harbor, Florida. Coverage brought to you by our friends at PoolDog.com. Jeremy and I will be here for the better part of the day doing commentary. We'll take the evening off tonight after a long, long day yesterday of commentary, and be back tomorrow. But we'll have streaming coverage pretty much every round today. Just
Yeah, we'll be in it for the long haul come Saturday and Sunday.
yeah. So make sure you like our Facebook page here if you haven't yet, or subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Okay, so he's going to get a bit of a tester here in game 1 on the 8. Really wanted to check the cue ball up a lot more with the inside dropping for the 8 in the left side pocket. So he's gotten to where could be a scratch kind of both ways if he chose the lower left corner or the left side pocket. So he's going to have to make a decision, not only which pocket, but how do I avoid that scratch? And that's what he's kind of inspecting now. Can I level out and shoot this in the corner and not scratch in the side pocket? And a lot of times what will happen with these players is they recognize the scratch as possible. So why take a chance with the top when, you know, you can put it more in your control and cue downward on the ball and make sure you're not scratching. And that's what he's going to do. And I think that's a good choice. You don't want to hit the ball well and then lose the cue ball, losing the game that way. But just like pro events or any other events, that first game is huge. Oh, great shot.
Nice cut there by James. Pockets the 8 in the corner. Takes a 1-0 lead in this race to 7.
And a very settled run out there in our opening game. And both these guys, it's their opening match in round 1 of the winner's side.
James noted his wife Jennifer and mom Mabel and son Braden as folks he wanted to give a shout out to. Also listed his wife as an influence in his life, so that's nice. Also mentioned Tony Crosby, his mentor. You know Tony?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in many years. Still lives in the area here, and I think he used to run a billiard supply, I believe, and part of the Florida tour here. I'm not so sure if that's still the case, but here it looks like another second ball break. And looks dry right now, nothing down. So Jacob will have his choice. Really like the stripes here. Solids are playable as well, but 6 is a little difficult. The 2 and the 4 on the bottom rail could end up a little difficult. So it's probably going to be the 9 in the side. Now, one thing he'll want to make sure he doesn't do is you don't want to make this off the 12. Not that it's necessarily going to hurt him, but could tie up the 12 with the 5 being there if he happened to pocket the 9 off the 12, or 13, excuse me, it was. Okay, kind of got no man's land a little bit there. He's got an 11 ball, which is nothing wrong to shoot at, but if you can see, if it wasn't for the 11, he'd be thin cutting the 15, which is not an easy shot. Okay, nice shot. Probably wanted to hold position on the 10 there. Not saying it's necessary, but he could shoot the 10 last. So he's going to go after the 9, then the 15, then the 14, 10, and looking for probably the 8 in the side.
Jacob, 40 years old, been playing pool nearly half his life.
Yeah, I see him at the Texas State Open a lot, and Austin at Skinny Bob's, both the 9 ball and the 10 ball.
Did you say you've played against him before?
No, we never played. We never drew each other, but I was trying to think of the Texas guys that would be here, and there were 4 of them that came from a qualifier in San Antonio, and I'm not sure who all they are. I know Robin and Jesse that came from the qualifier or the preliminary in East Texas. I think it was Longview that had one. Those are 2 solid players from my area. Robin, actually, I've known a long time. He's originally from Houston. Oh, he jammed it. And that was from trying to get a little closer to that 14, and you can see that the cue ball kind of got away from him. So our first really big error in the match.
If you want to look at the list of players in this year's event, see when they play, how they fared, you can go to our tournament bracket that can be found at compusport.us.
And one thing the amateurs have to remember here is these are all really good playing amateurs, don't get me wrong, but you know, you're probably going to get some opportunity, so you really got to shake off any early mistakes. You know, if you make an early mistake and they break and run a bunch of racks on you or something like that, and just, you know, got taken away from you, that's one thing, but most of the time there's going to be a dry break or something that gives you an opportunity to get back in the match. Easier said than done, Jason, but you got to leave not only the bad ones behind, you got to leave the great shots behind too, and get on to what you're doing in front of you.
Looking ahead to the 130 round, I anticipate we're going to see defending champ Abram Shade in that round. Hurricane Abe, as he's become known.
No, I haven't got to see him play, but you said
he's fun. He's fun. He moves a lot. Plays very fast.
Fast and loose.
Makes for a fun player to watch.
Yeah, there's some work here. You can see the table's been cleared off quite a bit, though, so that's going to help as far as James trying to get through this rack. Now there's, again, the 6 on the side rail kind of by itself, and the 2 and the 4. Those are the issues. I think I would leave. I'd shoot the 3, and I think I leave the 1 there and shoot the 7 next and drop down. Trying to see how to get at that 6, though. You don't want to wait on that 6, and if you have the opportunity, you don't want to have to shoot it all the way down past the side pocket. You'd rather just shoot it to the lower left corner. I don't think there's any reason. Yeah, I like that right there. Playing for the 7. Now, I know the 1's there, but I kind of like leaving the 1, I think. I don't think it's anything hurting me. You got a couple pockets for it. It's right near the 8. So I think I try to get on the 2 right now, or the 4 with a little top right English. Oh, he played for the 1. Okay. I think he's playing for the 1. So now he's going to drop down for the 2 ball. So he should kind of stun the cue ball just a little. Okay, I like this better. I would leave the 1. It's not hurting you at all. You got a nice angle to come up for the 6 now. And then the 1 kind of drops you after the 6. It kind of, that needs to go. That's going to hurt a little bit. that's all about where you can err. You know, you can see he had a lot of room above the 6, so you always want to err to the good side, and he didn't really need to thread the needle in any kind of respect at all. May have to take a shot at cutting the 2-ball. I'm not sure. Not sure he really has any kind of offensive play on the 6 or the 1. And the 1, you might be able to cut it back in the side, maybe. And maybe it goes in the corner.
List of players from Tyler, Texas, one of which is Jacob Watson. Do you know Jacob? He's a young guy,
Yeah,
red hair, real
yeah,
young.
yeah.
He's
here, right?
Yeah, he's been here the last couple years. He's another one of those young guys that kind of burst on the scene, and everybody's like, "Whoa, who's this kid?"
Yeah, does he
So
live in Tyler?
I don't know.
No,
Somebody
no.
just commented that he had. I don't know if that came out of Tyler, Texas qualifier or what that means, but I just noticed somebody mentioned him. And
Yeah, no, I do know him, and plays good. Oh, great shot there.
nice.
Yeah, really nice. And James, being a tall man, is going to help him in this situation, trying to reach that 2-ball, I think. May even have to go lefty. This is some stretch. This is difficult here. He's going to try and check the cue ball up with a little right English, coming 2 rails, kind of near the 15 up the table, so he's got to be a little aware of that. The 6 is on the rail, though, so that makes things a little easier, meaning if you want to shoot the 6 from a little more distance, you always feel a little more comfortable with the aiming when the ball's sitting on the rail like that.
Yeah, that's a real nice shot by James, who's.
Well, that 1 ball, too, cutting it back in the side.
Yeah, well, he shot that left-handed. I mean, that's.
Yeah. And I believe we still have, we just have one other streaming table going, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're up on table 6. Is that right, Steve?
Yeah.
Table 6
the
has an
YouTube
alternate
channel.
match. Jeremy Metcalf and Kerry Dempster over on table 6. You can find that on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/APA Leagues. Meanwhile, James Adams trying to go up 2-0 on his
nice
opponent,
shot.
Jacob Case.
So a nice recovery there after missing position just a few shots ago. He was really in a dilemma and came out of it nicely.
Takes a 2-0 lead in this race to 7. He will also have the break. Jacob Case will prepare the rack. Third of 5 games of 8-ball that we'll see.
I'll tell you, from what I've seen, how strong this field is. You could take a lot of pros, and they don't have to win this tournament right here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can see guys running out, and you know, they'd have to keep their composure and do it quite a bit, of course. But
So I know it's your first time here. You were impressed by the quality of play you've seen? Yeah,
absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, a lot of talent in the room, that's for sure. Okay, so successful in the first 2 games. I'm sure James will stick to. Oh, he's going to the head-on break. And for the big table, this, if you have a good break, I like this break for the big table. I think you can run a lot of racks. I think, with good racks, of course, you're going to make balls on the break. A little more chance of scratching at times, but I hit those pretty solid. And nothing down.
No.
Some clusters out there, though.
Mike, I've not tried the shrimp, rice, and veggies yet. I don't know. Have you tried that one yet?
No.
One of the fabulous dishes that Freddie makes here at Strokers.
I was debating it last night, actually.
Yeah. Did you have a salad last night?
Yeah, grilled chicken Caesar salad.
That sounds a lot better than that McDonald's I picked up on the way back, which was hardly edible. So.
Yeah, and totally your choice. That one's on you, Jason.
I know. You live and you learn.
Oh, you knew already, though.
Probably no McDonald's sponsorships forthcoming based on our comments here on the stream. That's all right, though. We'll stick with the food here at Strokers.
Well, we talked about earlier when you have kids, you eat McDonald's every now and again.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, you're watching second round of the U.S. Amateur Championship, the Open Division.
Yeah, and he's just taking care of one problem. He's got another one in the upper left, but the one that's going to stick out to me is that 11 ball that's near that left side pocket. That's going to be a difficult stripe to get at. I have to shoot a 9-15 combination here, and he'll shoot the 12 here shortly, the one that's near the 5 and the 14 in the upper left-hand corner. He'll shoot that shortly and break the balls out, but he wants to do it soon, because when you break the 14 out, you don't necessarily know if you're going to get a shot. But again, the real problem in my mind is the 11. There's a little bit of room to play position, and maybe more room than I thought if the 11 goes off the 6 in the side. That gives you a little more space.
Just another reminder, you can find all the tournament brackets on CompuSport.us. Find out when the player you're interested in following plays or how they've fared thus far. Again, we're in the second round. Wrapped up the women's division last night. Tina Larson out of Indiana securing her third U.S. Amateur Championship in the women's division.
Boy, she sure was happy, I'll tell you.
Yeah, she was.
Saw
It was
her
kind of cool,
afterwards.
too. I told her, I said, you know, your daughter and let the grandkids stay up late watching Grandma play, so she was excited about that. Of course, you can go back and watch that match on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page here if you want to see how that all played out. It was a nail-biter to the end. Jacob Case here at the table looking to pick up his first rack in this race to 7. Currently trailing by 2. James Adams, local guy here, to the Tampa area.
Yeah, and I'm not sure he got where he wanted there as far as at least continuing an offensive run here.
Tina, who's tuning in, said she's learning from what she's watching, so that's good. I've seen a few comments like that.
Oh, yeah.
Some great players to watch if you're looking to learn a few things.
Okay, good hit there. Surrendering the table to James, and James has got one big issue up in the corner, that being the 5 ball surrounded by those 2 stripes. So maybe he would like to cut the 1 and maybe take a chance of breaking it out, but not too many solids near, so it's going to be an element of risk there as far as getting another shot. Should get another shot, you would think, with the 4 near the pocket and so much open area in the center of the table. You kind of feel like he's going to get a shot on something, but and here's that 1 ball. And can't just hit the 14. He's got to get into the 5 or the 12 here, and needs to do it with a little bit of speed. And that's what I was thinking. He might go just above into the 14, which really, you know, doesn't do so much for him. And he's got to now think about breaking it out again, and maybe using the 2 ball or maybe using the 6 ball coming off of that to break out the 5.
Looking over James' bio, it said the question posed to him was, where do you see yourself in the future? He said, in 2 days, I see my son playing with the U.S. Amateur Championship trophy in my living room. So I like that confidence. Which I think if you ask a lot of these guys in this 128-player field, they all expect to be playing with that big trophy in a couple days. So long way to go. Again, double elimination. So the winner here will stay on the undefeated side of the bracket. The loser will move to the one-loss side, but still a lot of tournament to be played.
Okay, so it looks like a tactical shot here, probably shooting the 5 and the 12, making the 12, putting the cue ball maybe in the center of the end rail, something like that. Oh, I'm not sure where he was going with the cue ball there. And I wonder if he thought he was going to move the 12 out of position a little bit there. I'd like to wonder what he was thinking, and he definitely had something crafty in mind. It wasn't a, you could tell the way James plays that it's not going to shoot too many arrogant shots. But a prime opportunity for Jacob to get one on the board here. That's going to overrun a bit, so this is going to make very difficult position from the 14 to the 11. Maybe he's going to have to move the cue ball into just some type of long distance shot on the 11, kind of where he's looking there. I'll tell you, if you could get the cue ball kind of on the head string maybe, in that gap between the 8 and 6, I think Jacob would be very satisfied with that shot from where he's at now. Oh, that's going to be even better. Wow, nice shot, nice control. Now the cue ball is resting on the rail, so a little more difficult to apply side spin. I think he would like to put a little left English on this coming back towards the 8, but not sure it goes in the side. He's going to bump the 8. He needs to get a pocket. I think he got the side. Ooh. If he didn't get the side, he's got a difficult shot in the corner. So a little bit of a sigh there. You could see the shoulders kind of shrugged a little. So good chance this is a very tight pocket, or maybe not even a shot at all. So he's going to have to go in the corner. So
yeah,
difficult one. Difficult one here in game 3. Great shot.
Nicely done. So Jacob Case is now on the board, trails by just 1 game in what is a race to 7. Two more racks of 8-ball before we switch over to the 9-ball set. Jacob will have the break.
So both guys, just like so many in the room, are really enjoying what's going on here, even though in some heavy competition.
Just amazing over the years how the level of competition has just continued to improve year after year. I'm looking over the tournament field this year and not seeing a lot of the familiar names that I have in the past. Maybe the smallest field of former champions that we've ever had, and that's because it gets tougher and tougher for these guys to qualify and make it back down here. So.
Okay, it looks like another dry break. Really kind of slowed these guys down from running some racks, because you can see they definitely have the tools to do so. Quickly inspecting the 3-ball there, but the stripes are pretty good as well. The 9-15 looks like it's tied up, but I'm pretty sure the 9 goes in the corner by the 6. The 14 goes. I'm not so sure the 3 does. It's got a pretty decent starter on the 10, I think it is, on the left side rail.
James Adams at the table, holding a slight lead over Jacob Case. James initially won the lag, opted to take the break. Jacob decided they should start in the 8-ball set.
Yeah, so him taking the solids makes me think the 3 goes. Of course, I think it definitely goes in the upper right corner once the 5's removed. But he's kind of set his pattern. You can see that he's not really taking a whole lot of time from shot to shot after, you know, kind of surveying the table after the break. Okay, this wouldn't be the time that you would want to have to break out the 3-ball right here. Not at all. Not saying it's horrible or anything, but you're taking a big chance with those stripes near. So I think the 3 must go by the 14 in the corner is all I can think here. Okay, left a lot of angle there. So an angle to slide over, most likely for the 6 in the same corner. Don't think he's looking to shoot the 1, is he? One thing is if he could slide over off the 3 and shoot the 6 in the same corner, I think he'll play the 1 in the side pocket near the 8 after. Main thing is here, don't get too much angle on the 6. You don't want to get super thin here. You want to get pretty nice and heavy on it. Oh, and he hit it thick. You can tell from the cue ball wasn't exactly what he wanted either.
This is Jacob Case. Jacob out of Texas. Brooksville, you said that's near Waco, is that right?
Yeah.
Waco, Texas? Yeah. I'm sorry. Bruceville.
Bruceville.
Yeah. We got Bruceville and Brooksville in this match.
Close ones. And he's kind of falling out of line here, getting straight in on the 14. You know, he's going to have a thin cut on the 9 if he draws back. He's going to have a little bit of a tester on the 13, a little too straight to get back on the 14. So falling straight in here is kind of caused him some problems where he may have to go ahead and shoot the 9 right now and hold for the 14 in the side, I think. I don't think really now the 10 is the play. And maybe he's going to shoot the 10, but I think this is a wise decision, staying away from that straight in 10. Oh. A little bit of unforced error there. Because James doesn't have much choice here. He's got to shoot the 1. Trying to avoid contact with the 9 coming up the table. You don't have to get on the 3 here. You just go by the 9 and go up for that little angle on the 6 and the side, and then if you get straight, you hold for the 3. If not, you maneuver the cue ball around for the 3. So go up for the 6 now is probably the best shot. Is that going to be too much? I think so. I think it's too much. And it's too much so on the 3 as well, that where he might, even though he can see the 3, he might have to play the jump shot on the 6. He's asking a lot to be able to pocket the 3 and with all that traffic maneuver the cue ball around for shape on the 6. So I think the jump shot on the 6 now is actually, even though he's snookered, where he has a clean look at the 3, I still think it's the better shot to try and run out. Okay, position may get sacrificed. I don't know. Watch out, cue ball.
Scratches in that corner pocket. Jacob will have ball in hand here.
And Jacob probably surprised to get back at the table, really. So I'd probably draw the cue ball back for the 13 after this one, after the 11.
This is Jacob's first time at the U.S. Amateur Championship.
Yeah, and he got a bit of a funny angle here on the 13, so he may end up shooting a 9 instead. He's got to start paying attention to that cue ball now. Doesn't want to catch the 6 here, and to not catch the 6 means you have to draw the cue ball by the 6, and now you're involving the 3 and the 8. So even though he got funny on the 13, he may have to go ahead and shoot the 13 and draw his ball one rail over for that 10. Because the 9 goes to both pockets. So, you know, if you get on the 10 with any kind of angle, as long as it's not too extreme, you should be able to handle the last 2 ball running. Okay, he's got to shoot it from a bit more distance than he probably wanted. But still, it should be all right. Just naturally come across the table towards the 3 with the cue ball. He overcut it. So James will shoot the 3 in the side, then the 6, then come up for the 8. That's what happens when you start to get a little out of line. You have to sacrifice a little distance on a shot, and probably a little nerves here early in the first round for these guys. But you can tell, you know, if you know anything about pool, that pretty solid players, though.
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to be a little upsetting there.
You can see his reaction a little bit, his facial expression. Just kind of laugh, but.
Yeah, but that's again where you're going to err. And you got to err to the good side at all times. You know, like right there, he has the entire open part of the table above the 8. So the underhit is really the only problem we can really deal with, or problem you're going to incur. So still feel like he's a pretty big favorite to make this 8. Now the cue ball's some concern because he's got a lot of angles, so the cue ball's going to move a lot. But he's close to the 8, even though it's a steep cut, back cut. I feel like he should make it.
This is the 4th of 5 games of 8-ball that we'll see before these players switch to the 9-ball set.
Yeah, again, he's got a thin cut, but and cue ball's going to get turned loose a little bit as long as he doesn't scratch. I think he went for the bank. Okay. And that was a little bit safety-based, meaning he was at least going to make Jacob come with one heck of a shot to beat him.
Make life a little difficult for Jacob.
So both guys getting a couple turns here in game number 4 at the table. not something I don't think you're going to continue to see between these two players. So him looking at the 9, it tells me he's not going offensive, I don't think. I think he's trying to play safe of some sort because, okay, he did cut it. But I just didn't see much of position. But he's got one down the rail.
You're just tuning in, you're seeing second round of the U.S. Amateur Championship. We are at Strokers in Palm Harbor, Florida. Palm Harbor just across the bay from Tampa, which is a great place to be in November.
Okay, caught a little thick, so that's going to give up game 4. Jacob's got to shake that off.
James now leading 3-1. James will have the break in this final game of the 8-ball set. Astros shirt on.
Yeah,
friend of yours,
that.
I guess, huh?
Yeah, I think he.
Stros fans stick together.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen with that free agency. A lot of guys up, a lot of money needing spent to keep the team, and I think pretty impossible to keep the entire team. But I just hope that, Cole, he's got to do what he's got to do. But 8-ball movement. I just hope he doesn't end up with the Angels, which I'm afraid he's going to, because they're in our division.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Fairly nice spread there for James.
Yeah, and he's made a stripe, so the 10-ball up near that 8 is going to be some concern. One good thing is he's got a 15 near, so he should be able to break it out. Either with the 11 or the 15, he should be able to get at the 10 and the 8. He's going forward with the cue ball, it looks like. Oh, he was stunning the ball. We've seen these pockets. We saw a lot of it yesterday, especially that lower right pocket. Kind of, closed the door on many of these balls, it seemed like. Okay, some good sportsmanship there that James letting Jacob be aware that he can't shoot the stripes. I think he was about to get down and shoot at the 12, and James let him know that it's take what you make, so I'm stripes this game.
Yeah. We were watching a match the other day where that came into play. I don't remember which match it was, but we had a player accidentally pocket the wrong ball.
Yeah, I'll remember here in a minute, I think.
So it does happen.
I think it was Teresa Garland and her opponent.
It was one of the first matches we saw. Everybody just kind of settling in sometimes, those little mistakes, mental mistakes.
Okay, so looking to play the 3 in the side now. I think the 8 does go, so I don't think I don't think Jacob really has to do much as far as manufacturing a shot at the 8. It's just a matter of getting these solids down. Oh, he is looking at needing an angle on the 7 to try and open the 8. Okay, well that makes things difficult. Of course, you know as well as I do, Jason, nothing's ever easy.
Mm-mm.
And if he does have to break the 8 out, I mean, he's gotten to the point now to where he really needs to do it on the last ball, most likely. You don't want to shoot the 7, break out the 10 and 8, and then have the 1, a long distance 1 ball to have to shoot at. Because if you break out the 10 and 8, you're not going to have the cue ball up near the 1 at all. So, okay, he came with spin. So I think recognizing that he really probably has to use the 7 last. He's going to use the 7 last if the 8 isn't needed opening, some type of reopening, but that's what he's doing. He's going to shoot the 1, trying to gain an angle on the 7 to go to the rail and probably just
What's going
bump
on,
the
man?
10.
Good to see you. That's Abe Shade. Drop by to say hello to us here in the broadcast booth. We'll see him here in a little bit. Hurricane Abe. It's one of my favorite things about this event, Jeremy. Over the years, you know, some of these guys that you see every year, start to get to know them a little bit, and just a lot of great guys that make their way down here to Strokers and play in this event, all playing for the love of the game, that legacy.
Yeah, for sure. It's got to be the biggest amateur title in the country. I mean, there's some that have money, of course, as far as that, but big table pool with what's going to be some of your, you know, most of your top amateurs. Now, you got an angle to go naturally into it. Okay. I think he's okay. It's soft enough to hold that cut shot on the 8 in the corner. Really important game, I think, to get it to 3-2 before we go to the 9 ball.
All right, so the players will split the 8 ball rack 3-2 in favor of James Adams. Nice job there by Jacob Case to pick up a game before we switch to the 9 ball set. While the players get ready for 8 ball, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our friends at PoolDog.com.
Tired of the same old when you're buying billiard supplies? Come shop with the big dogs at PullDog.com. You want pool cues? We've got over 700. Balls, cases, accessories, no problem. Want help with your game? How does hundreds of free training articles sound? Want to shop offline? We'll mail you a free catalog. Hit us up online, PullDog.com, or call 866-843-32.
All right, folks, back in action here at Strokers. Jacob Case at the table. Not satisfied with that shot, it doesn't appear.
No, but you can see a great break, making 2 on the break, I think. And I think he shot at the 1 ball. I'm not sure, but I think you got to take a stab at this 2-3 or this 2-3 combination, or maybe the 2 off the back of the 3. Could play safe pretty easily, though, kind of running the 2 down table and putting the cue ball behind the 7 and the 9. He's got some choices here. He could play a real tough shot, kind of a back cut to the lower right-hand corner pocket. I don't know, just something tells me I'm probably shooting something at the 3, whether it's the combination or maybe the 2 to the rail and then kissing it off the 3. Yeah, missed it, but I don't know. Just if I was at the table, I think that's what would have appealed to me as well.
I'll bring Jacob back to the table here, looking to tie this match up at 3 games apiece. This is a race to 7. We're now in the 9-ball set, so we can see up to 8 games of 9-ball, depending how things play out between the 2 of these players.
Yeah, and as the week goes, just like in the ladies, we saw a couple of matches early that weren't so close, but come day 2.
Every match was Hill yesterday, with the exception of one that we saw, I think.
Yeah.
I guess the final technically wasn't Hill. It was 1 game shy of that, but it was.
But it
was
neck
a
and
3-hour
neck.
deep match. Yeah, it was definitely not one-sided.
No,
the difference in that was just Natalie's.
It was unfortunate we had to have a loser, really.
Yeah, Natalie Jacob played outstanding. She's not quite as proficient in the 8-ball set as Tina was. I think that made the difference in that match. Again, you can go back and watch that final on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and Natalie, who obviously is a really good player and was a really good player at one time, and then took like a 12-year hiatus from the game and came back in April. But I'm not so sure she's had any days probably since she came back, or any pressure, high pack pressure long days like she had here the last couple. It's like she came back to playing and probably did a lot of practicing and obviously had to win a preliminary to get here. But probably was one of the favorites doing so maybe, and I think she handled the 2 days of competition
absolutely
in a great fashion, and I'm sure she'll be back.
Came a long way too, all the way from Montreal to be here. I think we said we had 33 states represented this year at the U.S. Amateur, 2 Canadian provinces.
Okay, so a choice here. Do you go below the 9 here for position on the 7, or do you stay above? I kind of like staying above myself. Oh, he went below, and that's going to cost him, it looks like, too much speed. Maybe that type of sport where you fall in love with yours. Yeah, I think the 9 might have him just a little, so this is going to be a rail first shot. And the key to the rail first shots, of course, this is after you've played a little while, but key to the rail first shots a lot of times is trust what you're looking at. You can kind of gauge it a little bit, but
Jacob looks to be in good shape here to tie this match up.
Yeah, no need to really play short position on the 8, meaning try to get to the short pocket and shoot the 8 in the same hole as the 7. I would just draw up underneath the 8 here and take the longer shot. Well, he's not going to be happy with that. And that's definitely a little bit of nerves playing in right there. Now, difficult shot. He's got to elevate a little bit to bring the cue ball back. Can't simply go across, and side pocket would be a little bit of a trouble. Oh, nice stroke there. Now the cue balls are going to have too much speed.
Oh, no.
Okay, so he's got a shot up in the corner, but when you're close to the ball, you don't get the the perspective. You don't see the shot quite as well. It's a difficult ball to aim on when you're really close to it. They're, I think, inquiring about possibly getting a referee for this shot, but I don't think the foul is much of. Oh, he's looking at a safety quickly. He's going to edge the 9 and run the cue ball to the end rail. And pretty smart shot, really. And that's some good discipline, really, because
Yeah.
he's only down by a game, of
Sure,
course, but
right in it.
but you want to shoot. I mean, that's what you want to do. You want to make great shots.
Yeah.
You want to make really good shots and smart shots. And he realized that the last one that I just commented on, the smart shot, was the prudent play right here. And tough safety. I like him going at the bank. We're playing 9 balls, so it could double bank and get in. We saw a couple of fortunate rolls that played big yesterday in the ladies' event. Could try to edge this ball and run the cue ball. You could bank the 9 back up to the middle of the end rail, but not so easy. Said I really like him going after the bank. Long rail. And he hit it pretty well.
Oh, no reward, though.
Not good enough.
This game will go to Jacob. Pockets that 9 in the corner. He's tied things up here. 3 games apiece. Pretty evenly matched here, I would say. Jeremy, what do you think?
Yeah, and you can see
Obviously
how the
it's
guys
3-3, so
yeah, you can see how the guys play, and
yeah.
they both had a couple of mistakes, but you can see they cue the ball real well, have all the tools. So I think just a little bit of early nerves, but yeah, definitely evenly matched. And that's what I think you're going to find. Now, this is my first time to the U.S. Amateur, but I think you're going to find that in most matches, meaning there's always going to be what you would say a favorite.
Right.
But it's going to be very competitive. I think so anyway. So I know most of them are. And when I say competitive, I'm meaning, even the underdog plays well enough to win that match against what would be the favorite.
Dry break by Jacob will bring James back to the table. Surveying the layout there.
Yeah, he's got a 1 ball, of course, very makeable, and he's got to just probably play the 2 up long. There is a 3-9 carom shot that does go, but it's tough to get position on it. So probably come down off the 2 and play safe on the 3, I'm guessing.
I was peeking around. Somebody asked how many spectators in the room. I don't have an official count, but I don't know, 100 or so folks in the room, 150. I don't.
There's a lot.
Kind of hard to tell. It's a small room, but there's people everywhere. So.
Yeah, there's a lot. So James is going to have to make a little room, even though there is ample room here in the pool room, but just so many people and.
We're kind of secluded back here, so it's
Yeah.
hard for us to get a good shot of the room, see how many people are here. But
Okay, if he can get by the 6 here, he might get on that kiss shot on the 9 I was talking about. A little far for that kiss shot. And that's the only thing really that has really kind of slowed James down a few times is the speed of the table. And when you're competing, your heart rate goes up. The overhit is easier. It's an easy thing to do.
kind of an interesting comment from Keith Akins. Apparently Jacob's a friend of his, and they've played several times, but he said, with all due respect, he doesn't believe he's near James' speed, so kind of an interesting assessment as James narrowly misses a scratch there.
Well,
Did qualify that by saying the underdog can play a little over their head, so who knows? We'll
yeah,
see how it
and,
plays out over the course of the tournament. But
but that's the thing, Keith may know better than we do, and he obviously knows Jacob better than I do. I've known Jacob for a little bit, but James, you know, these aren't players that are going to just play perfect sets every time, you know. So if James makes a mistake or two at a key time, even being the favorite, he can
Just gotta
certainly get beat.
capitalize.
Yeah,
It's all about capitalizing on the right moment, the right time.
For sure.
And we've seen in the last couple days, just a few errors here make a huge difference. I was thinking back to the young lady yesterday that missed a couple of 9 balls in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Amy Peterson, and unfortunate for her because that was the difference in a few matches that she had.
Yeah, and
She
you know,
might have been
possibly
there
be
at
in
the
the
end,
finals.
yeah.
Yeah. You know, and
They're
pool.
not robots though out there,
No,
so
and pull
mistakes
it-
happen.
And pull at this level, you know, and all levels, you see strengths. You know, like I kind of feel like Jacob pockets the ball pretty well, still learning some things about the game. So you might say James is a little more seasoned. He's obviously played in this event
Yeah, several
more times and done well. But
yep.
but you know, the guys you might consider underdogs are the players. If they play to their strengths and stay confident, I really believe you can. You're not going to see too many matches that are just obviously lopsided.
Yeah. Well, we've talked quite a bit about the fact that all these players that are here have had to have qualified to be here, so
Sure. And it's just like,
already successful in the preliminary level.
yeah, and, you know, and just guessing that probably 50% plus may have not been the best player in their qualifier when they qualified.
Right.
You know? So we, you know, like Chris Young, a really good player from Houston that's here. Him and his brother both are good players. He's the one who beat Ernesto in the finals, you know, and Chris will probably tell you, just like I probably am guessing, and that Ernesto's the better player, you know. But when it comes down to it, it's all about who gets that W and makes the most balls. Okay, really trying to capitalize on some safeties there. The one thing that some people believe you can win with just safeties, and the safeties are an important part, but really getting down and knocking the ball in is really what the game's based upon. So a long shot here for Jacob, and he will attack. Got a little roll.
Going to bring James Adams back to the table. As we've mentioned a couple times, James is a local guy here. He's from Brooksville, Florida.
Not sure where that is.
Not too far from Tampa here. And then Jacob is from Bruceville, Texas. So we've got a Bruceville and a Brooksville, and I say Ville and not
James and
Vol.
a Jacob.
Yeah.
Not Vol. No.
Louisville.
Louisville. Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville.
I say Ville.
Yeah.
Brooksville.
Brooksville. Bruceville. Yeah.
It's like the players are taking a quick break here, so.
Yeah, you don't see that very often in the midst of the game.
Yeah.
Most of the people have taken the timeouts between games.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we got a few minutes. If anybody's got any questions they want to ask of Jeremy or myself, feel free. I know we've talked quite a bit about the Mosconi Cup, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. Jeremy's obviously heavily involved in that as the vice captain. Big news earlier this week when Justin Bergman was named the 5th member of Team USA to round out that group of young men that will try to defend the Cup in a few weeks. And I know everybody's very excited about that.
Yeah, it's going to be one heck of a time.
And you're heading to, you said you're heading from here to Arizona?
Well, I go home for 2 days.
And you're
then
off to Arizona for some coaching?
To teach for 4 days. And then,
It's Vegas
and then
time.
from there to straight to Vegas.
So how long will you be in Vegas?
Have to be 2.5 weeks.
2.5. That sounds like one of my trips to
Yeah.
Vegas when we go for our tournament. So
It seems like I stay going a lot these days.
yeah,
But it's been great. I've been fortunate enough to be around pool. And, you know, kind of keeps you in stroke even though you're not playing that much.
just fresh off the International Open too, right?
Yeah, it was some incredible play there by so many great players. and it's, you know.
Jason Shaw won that?
Yeah, Shaw won
so
that. He beat.
Member of Team Europe. He's playing strong right now.
Yeah, he beat. Actually, there were 3 Euros that were on the podium, first, second, and third.
Oh no. Who else from Europe?
Maximilian Lechner from Austria.
Okay.
And then Josh Filler.
Another member of Team Europe. Filler
Yep.
the Killer, the 2017 MVP, will be back. Tough chore for you in Team USA, but we'll be rooting you guys on.
Yeah, and you know, how else you want to win?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to beat
play
the
the
best.
best.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just like last year, they had a stellar team and along with us, and you know, it's just like another thing. You want to play well when winning, and we talked about that. That was one of the most things I cherish about the win last year is both teams played at a really high level.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't, you know, a couple broken legs and ankles trying to cross the finish. See who crosses the finish line first. It was a.
Seemed like so many times it comes down to who wins the lag. in those
Absolutely,
matches.
yeah.
You know, you get that in that race to 5. Whoever's get the break 3 times is
I think during the interview
huge.
we had, you had asked me some things about what are you looking for in the Mosconi Cup. I think the first thing I said was, let's win a bunch of lags.
Yeah, it's huge there.
Yeah.
At that level of play and that race to 5 with the alternate break, you gotta.
Yeah, it's a weird deal. Now that's going to. Ooh, okay. It held up. And it may
It's
go on the
gonna-
side. No. It's funny about that lag. Not only do you get the chance to win the first games and get a lead, but there's all kinds of perspectives. But in my mind, the coming back is easier as well. I think when that player that didn't break in the first game wins that first game, there's a lot of pressure on them to try and hold that serve to get up that 2-0 and not give it right back.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think there's a lot of psychological edges to winning that lag besides getting the chance to get that first lead.
Yeah.
And obviously, if it goes the distance, you're breaking hill.
Yep.
So he's got to elevate because he recognizes the scratch up in the upper right corner if he just rolls this. Oh, and kind of a bad miss there for Jacob, and I don't really think that's his pool game, those types of misses there.
Keith, I don't think you missed it. I know Ernesto, he tried to qualify but was unable to win in his preliminary. And you mentioned King Henry, Henry Brote, Kenny Brisbane, both former champions. I don't know if they tried to qualify or not. Henry out of California generally is trying to be here, and I know Kenny as well, so it could have just been a situation where they just like Ernesto, they didn't qualify in their preliminary. Again, we talked quite a bit, but competition level year after year here seems to get better and better, and more young players coming up.
Yeah, they don't just give it to you.
Yeah.
You got to earn it.
You know, some of those veteran guys, you know, it's hard to keep up with the young guys. I mean, we see that we talked about Mosconi Cup Team USA. Shane's the old man of the group there now, right? And
him and
40,
Justin, actually.
I don't even know if Shane's 40 years old.
No, he's 36,
36,
I think.
so, yeah.
35, 36.
So
but every sport is getting younger and younger.
Young man's game.
It's just how it is. Doesn't matter what sport you really talk about it. An interesting fact, a few years ago in the NFL, I saw that out of all the starting linemen, the oldest starting lineman in the NFL was 31 years old.
Wow.
Which is much different than it used to be. That used to be one of the areas, if you were good,
you could play for a long
you
time.
play for a long time. Yeah, and, you know, actually the quarterbacks like that. They had veterans that they really depended on. It was a big deal in the NFL, but now going much younger as a whole.
Jacob Case back to the table here.
Okay, that one kind of boinged on him a little bit. And this is going to get a little funny, I think. Oh, he's okay. He's not a scratch really at all. Nice 3-rail position for the 6. You know, as far as this title here, I've known Ernesto a long time, and he's won some big titles. He won, excuse me, APA singles out in Vegas,
Yeah,
which
he's
pays.
won the 8-ball classic.
Yeah,
he's been on I think he's been on a winning Masters team.
Yes, he has. But he's won some big cash.
Yeah.
As an amateur.
Yeah.
And some big events, but I don't know if I've ever saw him more, kind of glowing than after he won this U.S. Amateur.
Yeah.
He was really proud of it.
2011.
Mm-hmm. He'd be a great guy in the booth here. I think they may have.
Did they head back to Houston already? Teresa Garland, his girlfriend, was in the event.
They're really busy people with the pool and poker and some other stuff. So I wouldn't doubt if they went ahead and took off because they drove here. And I think that was maybe the reason why they did drive, is just in case they wanted to leave, they could.
Yeah.
Without having to pay a bunch of money changing flights.
She had a great tournament.
Oh, yeah.
She continues to get better and better each year that we've seen her, Teresa Garland.
It looks like he overcut it.
Watch
and
out.
the cue ball's going to do him some favors here, hanging up in that opposite corner.
We do have one other stream table in play. I don't know if it is in play at the moment. That's on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/APA Leagues. Jeremy and I focused here on the main table.
Well, this is the type of kick shot, not to sound foolish, but it's the type of kick shot that where if you hit it more than often, you make it. More than not, you make it. More often than not, excuse me. Get it straight. Tough kick shot, though. Across the corner.
Just missed.
Yeah, just a little long.
Ball in hand to Jacob.
So Jacob getting away with a few mistakes here in game number 7.
Yeah, Jacob with a chance to take the lead for the first time in this match.
Mm-hmm. So he doesn't want to fall straight. Yeah, it's real close. So he's going to have to draw the cue ball back for a little bit of a thin cut in the side. Nothing too bad. Well, didn't get as much draw on the ball, so now I can still cut it. Doesn't want to apply any right English to this. Not only that, it makes it more missable. It really brings that corner pocket and that upper left corner on your screen into some scratch possibilities. So more centering English or even a little inside here to take care of the cue ball.
Jacob pockets at 9 on the side. Now leads 4-3 over James Adams. Race to 7 here. The U.S. Amateur Championship being held at Strokers in Palm Harbor, Florida. This event brought to you by the American Pool Players Association. Our streaming coverage provided by our friends at PoolDog.com.
Just saw a former champion walk by in the camera. Jason,
Jason Richko, another
from right
local
here,
guy.
Yeah, played a little bit with Jason the other night. And solid player, which I've known him for some time. Just hadn't seen much of him in a while.
Had a question here about just a question about Team USA preparations for this year. I know you guys were at the Dream Challenge and the Kremlin Cup. A lot of the guys were up there, and I know you guys have had some boot camps throughout the year.
Oh, nice shot there.
I know you guys are like regular communication and things, so
Oh, yeah.
you guys will be well prepared come, what is it, November 25th? Is that the
25th through the 28th.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some type of opening ceremonies that Sunday before. And go bright and early.
Here in the
from
U.S.,
Vegas.
11, start at
11
11 versus the 7 p.m. start.
Which will be, 2 o'clock here on the East Coast, 1 o'clock in the Central Time Zone. So, but we have to, Matchroom has to consider the rest of the world viewing our event, this event. So.
Yeah. Well, and of course, that event is carried
Hundred
throughout
countries,
Europe and Asia on Sky
something.
Sports, so that's everything has to be planned around that.
Yeah, it's a big number.
Mark said, Jeanette is not going to be here this weekend. She's actually traveling. this weekend. Of course, asking about Jeanette Lee. He wanted a Jeanette Lee and Double J.
Oh, in the booth.
Combination, and I'm sure we'll see Jeanette again down the road at some point.
Yeah.
Of course, she's one of our APA league operators, now running our league here in Tampa. So, like all of us, she stays very busy, but I know she'd be here if she could. But I know she's heading out of town, taking a few days.
I'm curious to see if James, even if it's possible to knock this 2 around table and plant him on the back of the 8, just because you can see the 4 and the 7 up in the upper left-hand corner. Not much future in the run out here. And you can get yourself in a real bad position if you try to run out and, of course, get yourself kind of pinned on that 4 ball. I don't think the carom on the 9 is makeable. Maybe if you caromed it long rail, and there's a big pocket up there with that 4-7 if he wanted to go for a bit of a, stretch on trying to make the 9. Yeah, he's trying to cut it in. I don't think he's got a chance with the inside English even. Just the tangent line off the 2 ball tells me he can't get to the thin side of the 9. So I like him either trying to, shoot this in and play safe on the 3 maybe, or okay, this is better. I think a 3-6-4 combination off the 7 may go. That kiss shot may go. Now, real hard to hold the cue ball for the 3 here, though, because he's up above it. And you want to put a little bit of speed on this because you don't want the 6 is definitely going to catch the 7, so you don't want the 4 to just hang. Nice shot. Really good choice.
James looking to even things up here.
And maybe that trailing by 1 game seems like it's maybe woken James up a little bit.
A little fire there.
Little alarm clock.
There
yeah.
you go.
Watch out, cue ball.
I think that's one of the other things that the players in this event really value or enjoy, if you will, is kind of these guys come from all over the country. I know a guy like James probably knows a lot of the local guys, a lot of the local best players, right, from top amateurs and pros, and probably the same thing in Jacob's area. I mean, you mentioned you've come across him in some tournaments, but, the 2 of them probably have not squared off at any point.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Yeah, I used to kind of live on that philosophy back on going on the road before the internet. We'd go into towns and there was no real hustle involved or anything. We'd just go to the pool rooms and say, hey, we like to gamble with pool for money. And it was the intrigue of somebody new that got us games as much as anything.
Right. Yeah, I know I've talked to our president and founder, Terry Bell, a little bit about his days on the road. And, I think there's a misconception out there about the difference between gambling and what you might call hustling.
Yes, very much.
And, Terry contends, kind of like you said, that, yeah, they went out and played for money, but very rarely did you go out and, not play or according to your speed, right?
Or you match up, you handicap it or whatever,
Yeah.
We didn't go and, we had some fun with some stuff when we were younger because we didn't know any better. We wore some Domino's outfits into places and – I mean, we did. It was fun. We saw it in a movie. We were naive.
Nice.
We were naive. And
if anybody's got a photo of that, please send it to us. I'd like to see Double J in a Domino's uniform.
Those are all destroyed.
That's funny. That's really funny.
All right. Well, a big miss on the 8. But, mainly, you didn't go – you did gamble in some bars because they were places where people were very knowledgeable about pool and the good players, and that's where they played. But for the most part, it was pool rooms and – like I said, you go into town, you go to the Yellow Pages, find out where the pool rooms are, you call them up, see which one really kind of entertains action, and you head over and you try to start making a game.
Yeah.
We weren't always like really good players. We were learning as we were going, and so we were taking a chance, and we got beat sometimes as well. So.
Yeah. Nice cut.
Yeah, cue ball position, very difficult, but nice cut. Okay, so to take a 2-game lead. Again, the key to this type of shot is that nice full swing. Don't steer it. Don't baby it too much trying to make the pocket bigger. Of course, you don't want to jam it, but
Got it.
nice medium speed like that with a
9
full
in the
stroke.
corner. Now trails, or now needs just 2. James Adams falling behind a little bit. Trailing by 2 games.
And that's, as Keith Akins had mentioned that he felt like James was a much better player or some reference like that. And that may be the case, but that's another thing that really at times can even sides is the pressure. James falls behind by a game. He makes a nice run out, gets a hair out of line on the 8, and consequently misses it. And now there's even more pressure on him to cut into this lead.
Seen some chatter about how do you get involved in the U.S. Amateur Championship. You can go to our website, usam.poolplayers.com. You can get signed up, and from there you are assigned to a preliminary round. The top players from the preliminary rounds advance here to the championship, Tampa. Some folks asking about invites and things. I want to just kind of clarify. I think we basically send out like emails to those that are rated a 6 or higher, or people that have played in the event before. So
like
you don't necessarily have to be invited per se. You can just go again. That's usam.poolplayers.com, and entry window is now open for next year. If you're looking to test your skills against some of the best amateurs in the country, I'd encourage you to go ahead and sign up.
Okay, so James in another good position here. He'll just have to fall forward a little bit on the 3 to hold an angle on the 4 to get back up on the 5. Now he's got to work the cue ball from the 5 to the 6. The 8's over that upper left-hand corner, so 8 not really a problem. Doesn't want to fall straight on this ball. And he's got a little angle. I would have preferred just a hair more with the traffic there, where I could easily get up there a little closer to the 5. And distance from the object ball doesn't matter that much all the time, but when you need to obviously apply some type of force to get back down from the 5 to the 6, the closer you get to that 5, well, the less force you have to apply. So it's not easy to get a big angle from here on the 5 at all. So he may come 2 rails, may go all the way to this side rail up, but really close to the 5 ball. Okay, he decided to stay back a little bit. This is what I mean as far as not much angle at all. So no matter if he goes forward off the 5 or if he draws the cue ball, he's going to have to apply some speed. And I don't feel like there's going to be any problem pocketing the ball by adding that speed. But with the 7-9 on the table there, he's going to have to find a gap there or a window for position on the 6. Watch out for any corners. Oh.
Ooh.
And he scratched, I think, as well. No, okay. So a nice roll at an important time, and James is kind of wondering what's going on here. That's 2 games in a row that he really put himself in nice position to make the clearance. And now this here, the jump shot, the kick is very easy, okay? And this is when you need to recognize the 7-9 are tied up. So it's very difficult to run out even with ball in hand. So one thing about if you're very good at the jump and there's no chance of opening up the 7-9 or giving up ball in hand, hey, jump it. But really a lot of
work out all right.
Yeah, that was good. A lot of times though, you want to kick at that shot.
Yeah.
I'm taking no chance to open the balls. Now he could go at this 5 by the 6. I like him shooting at it, and then that will open the 7-9 with the cue ball.
Boy, at one point, James was up 3-1 in this match, right?
Yeah.
So Jacobs really stormed back here.
Yeah, I like the cut shot by the 6, and again, that goes right for the breakout on the 7-9. Could get a bad roll, but nice shot. And a nice smooth stroke on that 5 ball, even though it was a tough shot. A lot of people, when they start to get some 5-6 feet away, they just kind of instinctively want to add extra speed to the shot. Self included. So obviously a big game for James here, trying to keep Jacob off the hill.
James rights the ship a bit there. Cuts into Jacob's lead, picks up his 4th rack. Now trails by just 1 in this race to 7. He will also take that always important break. Jacob will prepare the rack. Nick's asking any word on Mosconi feed, how to watch. This year, Mosconi Cup being carried on a streaming platform called DAZN, D-A-Z-N. You can Google that, or their website may be dazn.com, but
it's a monthly.
Think of it as the Netflix of
sports.
Right. I know they got a lot of boxing on there, and
well, that's one of their biggest starters is the boxing.
Yeah,
I think
seen some ads like during the Major League Baseball playoffs for it on TV.
Canelo, one of the most popular boxers in the world from Mexico. He's signed with them and exclusive boxer for DAZN.
So if you want to watch this year's Mosconi Cup here in the United States, you'll want to go to DAZN and download that streaming app. I think it's like $20 a month. You could probably subscribe for a month and
you can cancel it if you want afterwards. But there's other sports. There's not just the pool.
Yeah, so a lot of boxing content. So
and the good thing about that is you can go back and watch. You know, you can go back and watch something that a lot of the people aren't going to be able to watch during the day, even though it is Thanksgiving week. And expect everyone to watch when it comes to that Thanksgiving day. Watch out for the speed of the cue ball. And that's gotten him a few times. The speed has, not necessarily with scratches, but just overhitting for position or underhitting for position.
The Mosconi Cup will not be live streamed on Facebook. I don't believe it'll be live streamed on Matchroom's Facebook because, again, on that streaming platform. So go ahead and get familiar with that. Download it. It's going to be $20, so that's cheaper than a flight and a hotel and tickets to the event itself, which I know a lot of folks will be out there. Myself included, looking forward to that. But it's a very small price to pay to watch what is the most exciting professional pool event of the entire year.
Well, one of the most exciting professional sporting events.
Yeah.
Really. Now, you don't get to see all the stuff during the commercials in the arena and all that if you're on the zone, if you're not there.
If you've never experienced it firsthand, definitely put it on your bucket list. It's a
great shot there by James. Yeah, great cross corner bank, and one that wasn't easy and pressure packed because if he misses that, good chance that Jacob gets to the hill at 6-4. Another tough shot on the 3 in the side. And the problem with the 3 in the side is not only is it a tough cut to a small side pocket, but doesn't really offer much position. So when it comes to that, you want to get rewarded when you make tough shots. So he's going to have to figure out some way to maneuver the cue ball around, because I don't think he wants to try and play safe. He may settle for like a 4-5 combination or a 4-7 combination. Oh, play it off the point, Jason. That's one way to do it for almost ideal cue ball there. Okay, easy 2-rail position here for the 6 in the same corner. And just a few balls away from tying this match at 5 games apiece. They're going to 7 here in the Open until the finals. And that will be a 1-race final with an extended format. So, you know a lot of these guys, and there's a lot of new faces, you said. Who's your dark horse? Do you have a dark horse? Do you have somebody that
That's a good
has come close a few times, or that is ready to win?
I was looking at the bracket earlier. That's a good question. I think Mike Lee.
Where's he from?
I believe that was our runner-up last year out of Canada. And I hate to call him a dark horse as a runner-up, right?
Right.
But was a guy that kind of came out of nowhere last year, kind of like Abe Shade. I'm going to make sure I got that name right. Yeah, Mike Lee. He's out of Ontario, so keep an eye out for him. James Adams, another one that, if he can get through this match. I mean, I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you. I don't know much about Jacob Case, but expect quite a bit from James Adams. Nicely done there. William Gallagher Jr. is another one that, we've seen him at our pool player championships in Vegas, and he's always kind of right at the top. Just has never quite gotten over the hump,
yeah.
And so there's a lot of those guys. I'm trying to think of Wayne's name who's here. Wayne Galloway, is that his name? Yeah. A lot of familiar names. Guys that just, kind of got to move to that next level,
Sure.
Instead of finishing in the top 5, getting to that final match where anything can happen. Eric Tang, yeah. Get the score updated.
He's got the 2-ball down. And not going to get much of a look at the 1-ball at all.
Go back through that bracket and take a look at. Yeah, Wayne Galloway is who I was thinking of. David Rowell, always a guy that can be in the mix. John Mitchelltree, another name that's here frequently.
I think he's going to roll out here and just push the 5-ball away and kind of just leave something to play safe off of on the 1.
But
when you play these kind of safeties, Jason, excuse me, buddy, you might get the snooker, right? With all those balls there, it's not hard to get the snooker, but a lot of times in this situation, the player that rolled out knows that they're going to get snookered, but it's not going to be a devastating snooker, meaning it's going to be some type of very doable kick shot, and maybe even a kick shot that you're a little favored in the game. Oh, he
Missed.
aired it. So that's going to be upsetting.
Ball in hand to James here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, James should go for the cross side bank here and hold the cue ball right behind the four. Two-way shot. I would anyways. I'd go ahead. I'd try to make this myself. Cross the side and, like I said, just stick the cue ball right there. I think that's probably what he's going to do. But you were getting at something before.
Oh, you know, I was just kind of following up on the field, and I was going to say if I'm putting my money, you asked for the dark horse. If I'm putting my money out there, I'm saying we see either Brian Parks or Abram Shade in the final. And
Well, that's not much of a dark horse.
it's not, but I'm saying if I'm betting,
Oh, okay.
if I'm betting, which I'm not, that's kind of who my money would be on. That we'd see at least one of those players, and I don't know how the bracket breaks down. Could see both of them in the final.
So what you're saying is
they are the players to beat.
We're
from,
right
from
here.
my perspective.
We're
yeah.
right here in Tampa, and what you're saying is you don't fish too far from the shore. Is what you're saying.
That's probably a good way to look at it.
when it comes to putting money on it. Huh?
I've seen Brian Parks too many years. And I'll be honest, I was surprised when Abe Shade beat him last year, but it was no fluke because I saw Abe Shade come through our 8-Ball Classic and win that as well this year. And
Now, where was that at?
That's at our Pool Player Championships in April, one of our Vegas
Oh,
events.
he won
And
the big one.
He did. He won the purple tier, which is the top-rated tier for that.
Okay.
So he followed up his U.S. Amateur win with that
That's
one.
a nice paycheck.
And, I mean, that's a field that usually has guys like Brian Parks, Ernesto Bayala, Robert Hall, some of the same guys you see here.
Right.
So he's the real deal, no doubt about it.
You know, like I said, I've known a lot of really good players that have, not, you know, great players really, that have come out of the Peoria area, Quad Cities, all that area up there. Midwest, period, you know, produces a lot of players. It's somewhat like Canada in the wintertime. Gets pretty chilly, a lot of indoor sports going on. Okay, he's got to kind of pound this or draw it back. I don't know which he's going to do here. Okay, just simple draw stroke and a real nice one at that. So James kind of turning it on after trailing 5-3, it looks like. Going to get to the hill first. As long as he doesn't have something unexpected come along. Just a little stop shot here. Offers that nice little slight angle to come back up the table for the 8 off the 7. Oh, John Gruden.
Still around.
Well, he's got plenty to smile about. Guaranteed 100 million over 10 years. Pretty good deal. Even though I was watching that the Tuck rule, you know, way back when.
Oh,
with the,
man, yeah.
What did they
That's
get
the year
robbed?
that was the year the Rams won the
Yeah,
or lost to the Patriots.
Yeah,
It
that
the
was
Patriots,
in Texas. That
Yeah.
that was the first Super Bowl down there at the new stadium in Texas. If I remember correctly, it was, yeah.
Sorry, we caught that on the screen here at Strokers on one of the TVs. People are probably wondering,
Yeah,
what
are y'all talking
the hell
about?
are they talking about?
Still upset about that, though, that they gave Brady they gave them that ball back.
Me too, because otherwise they wouldn't have been in the Super Bowl against the Rams that year and beat them, and the dynasty for the Patriots began. But
Right.
so is life. Now the Rams are in L.A., and James Adams
There you
up
go.
6-5, now on the hill. Pretty good match we've seen here, Jeremy.
Very good. We haven't got to see Jacob really get to pocket many balls since gaining that 5-3 lead, but that's the way it goes sometimes. You know, when you're in this position, you're in a good spot, for both guys are, meaning, you know, Jacob's very capable of beating anybody probably on the planet 2 games in a row, and after winning a qualifier there in San Antonio, certainly capable of doing so here in this building. So he's put himself in position, even though he may have been a little bit of an underdog, 10% underdog, 15% underdog, whatever, but he put himself in striking range.
That he has. He'll have to hope for an opportunity here, though.
That's for sure. It
James
seems like
with the break.
James is getting a little bit more in groove. Okay, he's made a ball on the break. I think he's got just maybe a cross-side bank on the one. Don't think it's very well. No, looking at that angle, it makes me think it may be cuttable on the side. Got to turn the cue ball loose a little bit if he cuts it in the side, but it's still better than the bank option, I believe. Either is okay. Well, I got the confirmation from Matchroom that it is only the zone that is available here.
For U.S.?
Yeah, for the U.S. Sometimes there's some other avenues that have come open before, or multiple avenues on watching the Mosconi. But
yeah.
Here in the U.S., it's just the zone. And, again, if you want to support pool, it's very cheap. And great coverage, by the way. Yeah, coverage is awesome.
Production on that tournament is unbelievable. Yeah, well worth the $20.
Watch out, 9-ball. Okay, caught it a little thick. Is he going to get a roll? Little bit of a roll, I think. Maybe not. Maybe. See from the overhead.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
You're giving me all the hand gestures, and I'm looking at the comments.
Yeah, I'm used to that from some other companies. That one means rotate. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody asked about Jacob Watson. I am familiar with Jacob. We mentioned him a little bit earlier in the broadcast. Although I think somebody said he actually dropped his first match here, so he's out of. I believe he's out of Texas. Jacob Watson, younger guy.
Redhead.
Yeah.
Maybe Houston.
Some of the younger talent that we've seen here in the last couple of years come in and that we've taken notice of.
Yeah, and that is one thing here. You get a big variety of ages with the players and experience.
Absolutely.
Shows you pretty much kind of like the basis of our game that you can play it forever and you know, you can keep learning forever. That's another thing I think. It's not just the playing the game that keeps you there, but the learning constantly. It's pretty infinite, the game is. Okay. This jump shot probably not so offensive, but mainly to secure the hit on the one. The one's out in the middle of the table a little bit. Doesn't want to give up ball in hand because he can see the 2. Getting position on the 2 isn't easy. So if he can keep from giving up ball in hand on the 1, crucial time of this match, you know, 6-5.
A question about Abe Shade. He's scheduled for the 1:30 round here. That's Eastern time. I realize we are at almost 2:10 Eastern, so I'll have to see if they're holding that match for us. Uh-oh.
And that's from what we talked about yesterday. He tried to use every bit of the pocket on the 1 to try and really help the cue ball movement. And that's what you do, and you do it without even really recognizing it. You instinctively, you might say, push the envelope on trying to make the ball or use the pocket as much as possible when extra cue ball movement is needed. So it's something you got to recognize. It's easy to do. Don't think the 2 passes the 8. Don't think so anyways. Okay, you'd like to get the cue ball underneath the 6-3 somehow. So probably banking the 2 between the 4-9 and swinging the cue ball a couple rails underneath the 9, back underneath the 3 and all that. Ooh, he almost made the 9. So really good on the cue ball. And what is going to be a very, very difficult hit to get at the 2. And he's got a little gap between the 6 and 4 to get to that left side rail. But also the 5 is kind of hampering him a little bit also for the line to get at the 2. So it looks like he's going to the jump cue. And this may be a jump kick is what this may be. May not even be trying to jump directly at the 2. It may be that he has to get over a piece of the 4 or the 6 or the 8 just to be able to kick at the 2 ball. The problem with this shot is when you're so close to it and the object ball is so far away, it's not so much getting over the 3, but holding the line going at the 2, meaning because you have to dart it kind of like to get it up so quickly. So the cue ball doesn't have much power on it, and if you just accidentally hit a hair of left or right English on the jump shot, you're going to curve the cue ball by the time it gets to the 2 and probably end up giving up ball in hand. So we'll see here. He's going to try and get it up quick over the 3. And like I said, it shouldn't have a lot of power on it. Not at all. It should just be kind of going a medium speed. Oh, he got a lot on the ball. Pretty impressive. And a crucial hit at a crucial time.
James Adams back to the table. Needs just one rack to advance on the undefeated side of the bracket. Again, double elimination here, so both these players will move on regardless of the outcome here. One will just do so on the one-loss side of the bracket.
And James has taken on some banks during this match and been very successful. And
There's
again,
another.
Yeah. So here it's just one rail out. He could go forward off of this with a top inside English, but he's got to have good speed. Can't hit it too hard and too soft, and either one's no good. That's perfect. Now he'll just draw up that right side rail. Kind of hitting in between the middle and the 3rd diamond, something like that. This is where you don't overanalyze too much. I mean, you want to check your work, of course, but talk about it all the time. When the object balls are so accessible and handy, meaning the 6 isn't pinned on the back rail, nothing like that. They're very near the pocket. Main thing is here, don't overthink it. Stay off the rail, and don't get yourself too much of a missable ball on the 5. Because position on the 6 and the 6 to the 8 and all that's pretty easy. Okay, he's got a perfect little angle and could have used a little less, but still pretty nice to naturally just go 2 rails for the 8 in the same pocket as the 6. James goes on to get out here. Pretty impressive, kind of, you know, waking up from a few mistakes at 5 to 3 down and probably have a talk with himself that, hey, let's not have to do that next match.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So
Jacob Case is going to concede the match to James Adams.
Well, he just conceded the last 2 balls.
Last 2 balls, yeah,
that
sure.
were very handy and
Yeah.
easy.
Nice show of sportsmanship there. So
Sure.
James Adams is going to advance on the undefeated side of the bracket. Jacob Case, we might see him again later. Pretty good match for him. Just couldn't quite get over the hump there. He will move to the one-loss side of the bracket. Jeremy and I are going to take a couple minutes to regroup, and we
Won't
should
be
be
long.
back in just a few minutes. I think we're going to check on the next match. I know they were trying to hold Abe Shade and his opponent.
Yeah, I'm interested to see
So
him play.
we should be back in just a few minutes, folks. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll be right back.